Here I am in my car again. Sorry about that. 6:30, not even 6:30 a.m. Just been doing a bit of research, listening to some podcasts. Tony Robbins actually talked to one of the founders of Orange Theory Fitness, and they were talking about the business model and how they moved into franchising, and basically they focused on the client and focused on what they had rather than what they didn't have. And I think that's a very important message. That's what we want to get across as well, for everyone to focus on what they do have rather than what they don't have, because I think a lot of people are tied up in that world at the moment where they focus on what they don't have, and they look at, compare themselves to everyone else and compare themselves to the people that look perfect all the time, that apparently have perfect lives when in actual fact they don't. There is a big focus on the individual working on what they have rather than what they don't have, and I think it's very important for your self-esteem. And I took a few good points out of that, and it added some good value on that business model, and just being about consistency and process, and how they brought science into their workouts, and how they came up with a workout that allowed you to burn calories after you'd finished the workout. So that was a selling point for everyone. Also, how they've franchised, and they're in 10 different countries, I think they said, and they keep it consistent, and it's not just a job for people, it's a lifestyle. Whoever gets on board in terms of work and in terms of the franchises, you're not just in there to make a quick buck, you're there for the passion and the way of and the message of the business. Well, that was very interesting, and it resonates a lot with me, just in the fact about consistency and focusing on momentum theory, I think they called it, focusing on what you have rather than what you don't have. And as I've been saying, compare yourself to you, and progress is happiness, which are some messages that I'm trying to relay within my brand. I think it's very important to ensure that you're good up here, because regardless of what you have in this world, if you're not good up here, if you've got a bad attitude, if you're not happy, regardless of how much you get handed to you, or how much you achieve, or how many friends you have, or how good your body is, or how good you look, or how good looking you are, or whatever the case may be, if you aren't right up here, then everything's a struggle. So I think first and foremost, it is about fixing, I guess, the micro before the macro, as I mentioned in my last video. It's all a mental game. Everything is a mental game, and we have to ensure that we attack everything in a positive light, as hard as it may be. Sometimes we do have our off days. I'm a bit sick at the moment, as you can probably hear it in my voice. I finally went to the doctors after a month of being sick, and I think I'm just a bit run down, but that's okay. We push forward. I got a lung issue, potentially pneumonia, so I'm just trying to sort of take it easy as possible. But you've just got to remain positive and be good up here. I like to think I'm pretty strong-minded, but not everyone's the same, and I get it and I understand. But you have to at least try, because if you're not liking something and you want to give up on something, and you decide to persevere with it, there's no point in persevering if you're not going to go into it with a positive attitude. Because if you're struggling with something and you continue to go into it with a negative attitude, you will not win. So you have to remain positive. Your mind has to be strong, and you have to at least make that conscious effort to go into something all guns blazing. I know a lot of the time it's hard, it's difficult, and no matter what you get presented to you, if you're not willing to put in 100%, and at least try to enjoy it, or try to come in with a positive light, it's game over. So no matter how long it takes for something, you got to keep at it. Rome, as they say, that old cliche, Rome wasn't built in a day. But guys, momentum theory, right? Focus on what you do have rather than what you don't have. And everything's so much sweeter.